ẹ o, ẹ̀yin ará àdúgbò, o, ṣàlàáfíà lẹ wà. I got this. Well, you know how you wake up and you just have a pimple in the worst place you can ever think of. Well, but I woke up with one on my nose. This broad African nose, been a big old broad already. But I want that. Niger folks. Taba think about the shele. Taba to like Otani. It has to be. It's got to be the work of the enemy. Hi everyone. Come on in. Say hello. Come on in. Say hello. Hello, Miss Fumbi. How are you? Hey, hello, Mr. Dola. It's been a minute. How are you? Hi, everybody. I'm no sound. Y'all can hear me on Instagram? Yes, no? Can someone help me confirm? No sound? Can y'all hear me on Instagram and everywhere? Okay, so whoever it is, raise your volume. Okay, thank you. Because I like that's my charisma, unnecessary drama. But anyway, hi everybody. Hi TikTok family, YouTube, Facebook. What's going on, people? Thank you. Appreciate that. Hello, Miss Ellen. How are my babies? Sound is good. Thank you. How are my babies? Doing okay? What's going on? Happy Thursday, y'all. I've already made up my mind. Well, not made up, but I've already accepted, I should say. This week, next week, at least your Thursday. I know it's going to be we've got quite a number of cases still going out, still that we can meet that deadline for clients. So the pray is just that USCIS has competent people in the mailroom that they understand that it, as long as, because there's going to be so many packages, but as long as you mail it out before April 1st, law is not saying they have to receive it before April 1st. It's got to be postmarked before April 1st. Hopefully they've got people with brains in the mailroom that even if it gets there after April 1st, but it was mailed before, they understand, hi, Miss Sabina, that, it, come on, sometimes I'm not be on this group will kill 1 + 1 = 2. But it's USCIS. Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome in. I hope your week has been blessed, has been favored, has been productive, has been full of God's abundance. And, just even waking up each day is the abundant mercy of God. Just waking up, having an opportunity to start again on a fresh, clean slate and try it one more time. It's always a blessing. So if you're just joining us for the first time or just stumbled in, come on in. My name is Abisola Adebola Olale. I am an immigration attorney. I am an immigration attorney based in Alabama, but we represent immigration clients in all 50 states. Doesn't matter what state you live in. Got an immigration case. There's a case that we handle. We can and do represent immigration clients in all states. So if you need our services, contact information is 334-341-4475. Easiest way that you can communicate with us or get information about our firm is if you go on our website, olalayalawfirm.com, or you can send us a text, 334-341-4475. Same number on WhatsApp. We do not take calls on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is strictly just for text messages. So just so you know, if you need to talk to somebody, you've got to call a direct office line. But we'll be more than happy to help you with your immigration case. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thank you, Ms. Thank you, Miss Avina. She's already there. I was just about like, okay, let me click on. Every Tuesday, if you're on YouTube, that information is on the screen. If you're on Instagram, Miss Eleanor's got you, or Finance Jandy. I don't know if she's on. But every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. That will be 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then anyone else who lives in another time zone, y'all got to figure that out. I went to law school, so I don't have to do math. Yeah, so that's how it is. But we'll be More than happy. Hello, Miss Nose, to help you. Hello, Miss Giwa. How are you? Let me put on my glasses because I can barely see. Okay. Hello, Miss Tina. I sent the I will send you the tracking information. I sent it out to you today. So if you don't get an email from me, please kindly send me an email tomorrow because I can tell you that it's been go this week. So and that's expected, and we thank God to be of service to people. So please send me an email. If you don't get an email from me before noon tomorrow, send me a reminder email to send the tracking information so you can track that. But anyway, hello, finest Shani. Inshallah, when am I running a discount consultation? And not anytime soon. There's no discounts on your future. There's no discount on your stability in the country, right? Um, Good evening, everyone. So what? Please subscribe. Okay, thank you. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go on YouTube, Shako. Everybody subscribe. Let's build our YouTube community because I think a lot of people, and really, I don't think there's any day that passes by that lady, my sister, doesn't send me a message on WhatsApp or some, one in the social media platforms like, listen, y'all, once you say like, girl, tiny girl, she's American, so like, okay, whatever. But it's usually she's like, you are giving so much free information out, and it's really, really helping a lot of people. And I think that's one of the that's the main thing about doing this and being able to answer questions and come together and discuss cases and share testimonies together. But we would be appreciative if you follow us or subscribe to YouTube channel, follow us, like, share, all that on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So that's a mouthful. All right, people, what are we talking about tonight? Let's talk immigration, and I want to talk about Texas immigration law. So in question, in Texas, well, I think that's going to be subjective. Was home, but we've got quite a number of questions about, okay, what is the deal with Texas immigration law? What is going on in Texas? Do people need to leave? Is it going to be another Florida? What is the deal? Why they're in court? One decision today, then there's another decision. So let's break all of that down so you know where we stand today. Things are changing. Thank you, Ms. Ben. Texas immigration law. Immigration law is federal law. There is no state that is able to enact or pass anything related to immigration. What Texas, the state of Texas, is claiming is the federal government is not enforcing what the Immigration and Nationality Act says. That's what they're claiming. That's the premise on which they're saying that because the federal government is not going to enforce this, we're going to help them enforce it. Laura, that's what Texas in Sokoya. When Biden, so if it's not going to do it, let's go ahead and help them enforce this so that we don't have an issue. And truth be told, Texas being one of the largest states, and Texas being one of the states that borders Mexico, a lot of people coming through Texas through the border. That is just the truth. So it is a state that's got a high number of undocumented immigrants, whether people who came in, hello, Mr. Blades, whether it's people who came in with visas or were inspected through the port of entry, but overstayed, or those who came in without inspection. It's just it's a state that experiences a high volume, a high number of undocumented immigrants. Okay, so that's that. There's no taking away from that. Now, this SB 4 thing, what the state of Texas has just passed, and it's not whether or not it's going to pass. It has actually become law in the state of Texas. What is being fought in court is whether or not it should be enforced and whether or not it is constitutional. So it was supposed to go into effect, I want to say either March 3rd and March 5th. Don't quote me now. I think so, right? But the Biden administration and even my association, American Immigration Lawyers Association, we have lobbyists that work on our behalf. Everybody came and said this is unconstitutional, lawsuits here and there. And this, obviously, before you get to the Supreme Court, you start with the lower federal courts, and the lawsuit this is beyond their powers. States do not have any authority to enact or to pass immigration bill. That's what the Biden administration is saying. That's what the Constitution says. And they're saying it is unconstitutional because when there's a conflict between federal law and state law, this Constitution makes it very clear. The law of the land is Constitution, is supremacy, and there is the federal law will triumph and supersede state law. It is very clear that immigration is federal law, and so no state has any right to change anything when it comes to immigration. But Texas says we're not going to use part of that law that says that if you come in, and this is the truth that a lot of people don't know, that if you are in the United States undocumented, it is actually a criminal offense. If you violate the immigration law, such as being here without any status, it is considered a criminal offense, but for the most part, it is regarded as a civil action. And that is why if you're deportation, removal proceedings, you're not necessarily, yes, you can be locked up, and that's why people get put in detention or on an ICE hold, and you have to make bond because it is a criminal offense. Majority of people do not have to be locked up. They get a court date and they wait for the court date, but it is a criminal offense. So the state of Texas is saying, because the federal government is not doing what it's supposed to do, meaning people come in, they can't account for being undocumented. So we are going to make it a criminal offense, a misdemeanor. If you come into the state of Texas and illegally, you cross the border illegally, or if we find out that you are present in our state without any status, then we can arrest you and charge you with a misdemeanor. And we would allow our state judges, the state judges, not federal judges now, Texas state judges, to actually, you'll be brought before the judge, and the judge can actually put you in jail or give you the option to be removed to Mexico. That's basically what's going on. The federal government is saying, number one, that is beyond your jurisdiction because you're not the federal government and you cannot enact immigration law. It is our place. Number two, it is unconstitutional because it is going to violate people's civil rights. How in God's name are you going to figure out, besides those who cross in and you apprehend them at the port of entry or the border, people who are already in the state of Texas, are you now going to be discriminatory towards people and prejudicial, basically, in order to figure out who is legally in the state? Well, how are you going to, and that's the thing, how they're going to be able to figure out, like, you can't just, for no reason ask someone, do you have status or what, because someone speaks different from you do. It's going to be a complete mess. So that's what the federal government is challenging them on. But since they already passed the law in, so that's what that law is about. And another thing is Mexico is saying, it's funny because you have a state saying we're going to send you to deport you to Mexico. But then you're not asking if Mexico wants you to deport people to their country. What about those who are not from Mexico? The fact that somebody comes through Mexico and they're not a citizen of Mexico, what gives you the right to just dump people in somebody else's country? Make it make sense. But that's their goal. However, there were lawsuits that were filed. Biden administration filed a lawsuit. And what the Supreme Court ruled upon this week is whether or not they could enforce the law because they've already sued them in federal court as far as it being unconstitutional. But the Supreme Court had just one thing to decide, whether or not it was that they could go ahead and enforce the law while the challenges in court were ongoing. So while they're being challenged, whether it's a constitutional law or not, whether the state of Texas can now start enforcing that law, meaning people, the law enforcement can now start, guessing if someone is undocumented or not. And the law goes into effect while their challenges in court. Supreme Court came back surprisingly and said, yes, Texas could go ahead and start enforcing the law while the constitutionality is being challenged in court. So this was what? This was on Tuesday, right? And then, because I was like, this cannot be happening. But as God would have it, because y'all think this is just there's a way God will step in. And I'm not saying God is saying break the law. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, unless you know people's journey, unless you understand what is making them come into a country just to look for a better life, unless you have worked in somebody's shoes, please do not judge. That's what I'm saying, because you just never know what there are a lot of people who, I had a conversation with a lady this afternoon. She hasn't seen her kids in 7 years. She hasn't seen her children in 7 years. And her case is still pending. This woman was crying. She was born in 1972. So this is someone who's she hasn't seen her kids in 7 years, but she can't leave the country. She has advanced parole, but she's afraid. That's what people are going through. And so if you don't understand but she's the one supporting her kids. She's the one sending money back home for them to be in college and all that. So until you have walked in people's shoes, many people are taking care of parents back home. Many people are financially responsible for a whole family. So it's when I say God stepped in, it's not because like he bricked it on. No, because God understands where we're all coming from. As I said, God steps in, and the same day, was it the same day or the morning of the Fifth Circuit, I believe, decided to put a stay on the enforcement while our arguments are still ongoing as far as whether or not this is a constitutional law that can be enforced. So even though Supreme Court, highest court of the nation, decided, Texas am I Biden law kind of thing, God stepped in and says, not so fast. So it's not like the lower court is now stopping what the Supreme Court did. No, because the only issue before the Supreme Court was, can they enforce it? The lower court now has put a stay, an injunction in place, saying that as for today, it is unconstitutional for them to enforce that law. Arguments are going to still keep going, but for right now, it is not going to be enforced in the state of Texas. We can wake up tomorrow and that may change. That's why it is still going to be that's something that is ongoing, and we'll just see. But there's nothing prayers cannot do. This is the most important part that I want you guys to take out from this. It is an election year. It is an election year. You're going to have to, when we can't just sit down, it's like, things are going to change, or what they're doing is not right. No, if you've got a blue passport, that means you have a right to vote. Don't sit down on election day and assume things are going to go the way you think. No, you've got to make your voice heard, because there's so many fellow immigrants that are still on the way to becoming citizens, or even becoming green card holders, let alone citizens. You can make a difference in helping other people, just like somebody ahead of you helped you. So that's where we stand. And when we get updates, I try to, because I have a lot of things that I'm subscribed to, but I also have a full-time job as a mom, and then another full-time job as a lawyer. So whenever I get updates, I get a chance, I will update you guys. But so far as I know today, before coming on, that's where we stand with this law being enforced in the state of Texas. Okay, that's all she wrote. All right, let's get to as many questions. What's the time? 8:52. As we can get to. T. Oh, Mr. Bena, thank you so much for my aboniki. TJ, can you bring that yellow stuff you see there? Let me show you that. That's what we're going to use for my kid tonight. So he had soccer practice. That Mama Bear wanted to go in action, and so his dad was telling me that somebody had bumped into it. I was like, who bumped into my kid? I ain't gonna. So, but he's taking a shower, and this is what we're gonna use for look at my baby. Want to say hi? Without your shirt, come on, baby. So it's a banner. See, this is what we're going to use later on
Alright.
for your thigh. Yeah, it's really strong. So it's going to like give you some mental effects and ease that. And then I give you the medicine as well. Okay. All right. Disclaimer, general information, nothing specific to anyone's case as far as answers to questions. But if you're just joining us, um, our style is to put in thank you. But thank you for this though, because you have no it's strong as hell. Put your questions in the comment section and I will try to get to as many as possible. Okay, let's see. Yes, please don't forget to share. We would very much appreciate it. And like and follow also. Yeah, that's my baby. No, that's not my oldest kid. That's my young. I have 2 kids. That's all I could do. Those of you who have like 4 or 5. Hats off to you. I know. I'm not gonna on limits modity because I would have been in like a psych ward or something. No, I can't do it. Sorry. This one is like 10 kids in one. So okay, let's see. There is no sound. Oh, okay. Can someone confirm on TikTok that you guys can hear me? Let me, because I don't know if someone is just trying to be silly or something. Can someone confirm whether you can hear me or not on TikTok? Y'all can hear me okay. Okay, thank you. All right, never mind. So, all right, then I think it's the same person. Let's see. Okay. Okay, some comments were filtered. Okay. Thank you. My mom's case is closed because of didn't respond to mail. Is there any way to reopen it? Without knowing what the case was about, why it was, well, you said it was closed because you didn't respond, but what kind of case is it? When was it closed? When you say closed, I'm assuming it was denied. And so when was it denied? And that will determine what your option, if you can reopen or maybe you're better off filing. Best thing you can do is to sit down with a lawyer. Because so let me just say, this form, as much as I try to, give us as clear answers as possible, it is still just very, very general because there's a whole lot more that goes into each person's case, especially when you're asking something specific to your case. There's a whole lot explanation that will go into that, but there's only so much one can do without knowing the background of your case. So that's really what's important in being able to understand a question like yours, what the background is on that case. My friend got his VA approved. Congratulations to your friend. Congratulations. Is it possible to expedite a 601A? You can expedite anything with USCIs. The question is, do you have any grounds? They actually sent an update as far or a clarification on how and what grounds to how to expedite and what grounds to use to expedite applications or petitions. And I know that I got that email earlier and I just haven't taken time to actually read it. So there will be some kind of update that we can give you if that would help. Thank you, Energetic King. Appreciate that. How can I invite my mother-in-law over, please? Send her an invitation letter to. She has to apply for a visitor visa, and one of the things she can take with her is an invitation letter to show that you are inviting her to come visit with you. Whatever the case may be, if you guys have an event coming up that she needs to attend or she wants to attend, that will be an option you can explore. Okay, your friend got his vibe approved, and he here we go with friends, and he got. It's amazing how much we know about friends' cases because I know a lot of people really don't share much about immigration stuff with other people, but somehow we always know about our friends and the details about their cases. So, but anyway, so your friend got his VAR approved and he got RFE based on I-485 requesting his birth certificate next week. And that is so specific. It's got to be next week. So, what is your question? I have to hear things. So, what's your question? Uh, Tell me, guns. You want to marry you? Okay. Someone said, "Do you have money?" He may have money now. I'm not. Do I? I'm not expensive. Do I look expensive? Don't answer that question. More than you. Hey, listen. Mm. Let's see. How long should an asylum case take? Good question. The law is that asylum interviews should be conducted within 180 days. That's actually what the law is. The reality of what we see is there's nothing that USCIS does that is really according to what policy says it should be. Um, there is a default policy that whenever you have your interview, you should get a decision on your green card application within 160 days. There are cases of the people who are waiting 2-3 years after that, unless you got to file a lawsuit against them. So the law is that 180 days after you file, they should have an interview. But reality is it's taking years for them to schedule interviews in an asylum case. I've got quite a number of people who get green cards through marriage or whatever case may be, and then we'll have to send a letter to the asylum office withdrawing the asylum application. That's what we're seeing. It's impossible for green card holders to file for spouses lives in state. I'm assuming you mean living in the United States. You can file, it's not like you can't file for the spouse. The question is, can that spouse file for their green card based on marriage to a green card holder? And in order to adjust your status, when you're married to a green card holder, two things. Number one, you can only file when your priority date becomes current, meaning when USCIS starts working on cases that were filed, cases that include your date of filing of the I-130. That's number one. Number two, then you've got to maintain status at the time that up until the time USCIS receives your application. So if you as the immigrant is already out of status, you're not going to be able to get a green card in the country by being married to a green card holder. I have a biometrics appointment tomorrow. What's the next step? You're going to do your biometrics appointment, and then you're going to wait to see what happens after that. Either your EAD, either your interview. You just never know. I don't know what has happened in your case yet. Can I file that if I'm going through abuse and I-485 got rejected? Consult with a lawyer first of all to even see because if you're going through abuse, obviously that's the premise of VAL. But just make sure that you have your case evaluated and you've got the evidence to support your case. All right, thank you. What could be the reason for a judge not to reopen your case? Many things. It's if you don't have an incredible grounds, if it's not and then most of the time it is you've got to have new evidence for a motion to reopen. Sometimes it's better to actually have the DHS attorney joining the motion by seeking prosecutorial discretion. So without knowing your case, I can't speculate, but there's so many reasons why. But majority of the time, if it's not something about maybe you didn't get the notice or there's no new evidence to reopen, and you don't have a joint motion from DHS, it's usually tougher to get a unilateral motion to reopen approved. What will be the effect of the SB4 law on people that are out of status? That's the fear, because it's one thing that they're saying it's just really about you coming into the state of Texas illegally. But the thing is, if you're not in the state of Texas, they cannot enforce it against you. So that means that they have to know that you are physically present in the state of Texas without any status. And this law would allow just any police officer or sheriff's department to arrest you. They don't even necessarily have to call ICE. That's the thing. They don't have to call ICE. They just take it to their state court, and their state judge can lock you up or give you the option to go back to Mexico. And Mexico is saying, why would you decide that people can just come into Mexico without, where's that coming from? So that's the fear. That's the concern about, and how do you even get to know that people don't have status? Are you just going to assume or go to communities and just do a raid? How is that going to play out? It's yet to be seen. You can tell I get really, really passionate about things like this. I-45 was denied last night, but I-130 is still pending. Do I need to reapply everything medical I-130? Sit down with a lawyer and figure out why it was denied, first of all, and then know what to do next. If you didn't have a lawyer the first time, which I'm assuming you didn't, it's best for you to get a lawyer to help you out. What's the latest as it relates to VAT and filing fees? Starting April 1st, VAT petitioners will not be paying filing fees for applications that have to do with VAT cases. Okay, what would be the reason for a judge not to reopen but my husband and kids are U.S. citizens? If you don't have a lawyer in your case, Eves, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, have a consultation. I always say this, listen, this is my version of free consultation. I think I put in quite a number of hours. So, Lydia was telling me that last year, I don't even know how many videos she said I did. I was like, wow, you got to understand this is, I love it, but it's not like I don't have something else to do in my time. Not only do I honor you guys coming in because we're coming together to learn, but because I know that it helps tremendously. But there's so much to it. So there's only so much I can answer your question as on a general forum like this. The fact that you have a U.S. citizen's husband or the child is not enough to know what is the background of your case. Why was it denied? There's a whole lot that goes into that. Did you have a lawyer that helped you? Was it denied because you didn't get a notice? What is it? So sit down with a lawyer and have your case evaluated so you know what your options are moving forward. Okay. My I-130 was approved, but deportation not canceled yet. Case taken to high court. What do you think? What do you mean high court? What do you mean high court? Because if your case is not terminated, like if you're ordered removed, so when you say deportation not canceled, have you been ordered removed? There's a removal order. You now appeal to BIA, and then you're not in U.S. District Court. What? There's a whole lot of there's a sequence of events or procedure that I should say how things go. It's a USCIS discretion not to approve traveling parole with EAD based on marriage. Yes, they can bifurcate the approval of EAD and advanced parole. So basically, they can decide not to give you a combination card and approve the work permit. And I usually have that happen when especially in VAR cases, maybe we do an expedited request of the work permit and they just approve that, and then later on we get the advanced parole. But there's, even if you don't have an expedited request, there's nothing that says they have to approve it at the same time. How long does it take for USCIS to respond to your FOIA request? What I've seen in my firm is it takes them anywhere, depending on how large the file is. I've seen it go from 30 days to about 45 days. That's the average time that I'm seeing based on FOIA requests that we do. Okay. That's not. Are you in Houston? No, I'm not. I am in Alabama, but we represent immigration clients in all states. Actually, Houston is literally one plane from The airport next to my house or close to my house is 15 minutes from my house, and it's a direct United. It's a direct flight to Houston. So whenever I have to come to Houston, either for interview or immigration court, most of the time I actually do the same day. I leave in the morning because there's an early flight and there's a late flight. So it's like it just works out. I had an I-751 denied, went to immigration court, and the judge terminated the case. Okay, so what's your question? Let's see. All right, thank you, people. Amadu, what's your question then? Okay, it seems that I need to refile that I-751. When can we talk? You can set up a consultation by calling our office 334-341-4475. Or go on our website. The fastest, easiest way you can schedule a consultation is to go on our website, olanleyalawfirm.com, and you'll be able to schedule your consultation. And you see my schedule, what's available, and you'll be able to select and make a payment there. Okay, let's see. My FOIA request has been months and I'm yet to get. Is it to USCIS or CBP? USCIS is the fastest. If your FOIA request was to CBP or to the DOA as a part of state, those take much longer. But I don't have FOIA requests that takes. I've never had one, knock on wood. I don't even have one that took up to 60 days, really. Yeah. Does having a current B1, B2, which you have used twice, help when you're applying for an O1 petition? It's not about B1, B2, you being used twice. It's about you being in, if you're changing status in the country, you just have to be in valid status at the time you're changing status. Okay. Oh, by the way, for those who are applying for H-1B, that if you have an employer that is filing for you for H-1B or H-1B registration is going on, H-1B is a work visa that requires an employer to file on your behalf. For cap subject employers, the registration period goes on. It was going to end tomorrow, which is the 22nd. USCIS has now extended the deadline for the registration till Monday, the 25th. So that gives you more time over the weekend to do that. So just an FYI. Thank you, Mickey. Who is that? Person knows my consultation fees. Oh wow. Thank you. Appreciate that. So that's that's the information there. I wonder, there has to be someone I know for sure. Can one file in 3 years for citizenship or it's 5 years? Depends on what your eligibility ground is. If you're filing in 3 years, that's because you are either in marital union. You've been a green card holder for 3 years. You've been you're in marital union with a citizen, or you got your green card through by filing for VAWA, and your abusive spouse is or was a citizen. If you don't fall within that, then it's going to be waiting for 5 years. Can you adjust your status while you are out of status? Okay, you can adjust your status if you're out of status, depending on if you qualify to still adjust your status. Example would be if you're out of status, but you're married to a citizen, you still qualify to file for your green card and adjust your status, which is what that means, because you're exempt from being out of status. If you're out of status and you are granted a asylee status, then you can file for your green card even though you're out of status. So it just depends. Questions are coming. How long does it take for your authorization to come when you're applying for an asylum? When you say authorization, you mean your work permit? If that's what you're asking, when you apply for asylum, you have to wait 150 days before you can apply for a work permit. And usually USCIS cannot issue you that work permit until it's a total of 180 days since you got your asylum application. So, but you cannot concurrently file for authorization, and they do not just automatically send you work authorization because you file for it. So you have to file it after 150 days. We spoke about my school issues last year. You have to understand, I speak to a lot of people. Give me a hint. Because I speak to a lot of people, but I know that's why I knew it had to be someone that I know. Okay, let's see. Does okay wait. When you get a prima facie, what sign is that? It just means they've done an initial review of your case and it is approvable, but they will still have to review your case. But while they do that, this is a letter you can use to apply for benefits such as housing vouchers, food stamps, financial aid to go to school, Medicaid, while your case is pending. Okay, let me go on. Hey, TJ. My spouse was an LPR at the time when I filed for VAWA case. Now he's a citizen. Should I notify USCIS about the change? Absolutely, because that would make a difference. Keep in mind that once your VAWA case is approved, if they regress again as far as priority dates on visa bulletin, that would affect you being a spouse of a green card holder. But as a spouse of a citizen, there's no waiting time for them to approve your green card once your VAWA case has been approved. Okay. Hello, Epic Movements. How are you? Hello, Mr. Kelvin. Hello. Let me start from the beginning so I don't. Hello, Ghanaian wife. How are you? How are you guys doing? Let's see. Okay, let's see. You're welcome. Okay, all right, there we go. Okay, here. All right, thank you for confirming that. I appreciate that. Okay. Hello, Cookies, baby. It's been a while. How are you doing? Let's see. Hello, Miss Aminette. 𝒂𝒏𝒕. It has been a while. Fine, Shandy. That lady is fine, and for like really, her username fits her. Like y'all need to see her. She is gorgeous. Just a gorgeous lady. Hello, Miss Tammy. How are you? Did you ever respond to my email? Y'all, when I came back, I was telling Miss Elena Sanctor, when I came back, I had over 1,000 emails waiting on me. I was like, I'm still trying to get over them, or get through them, I should say. And you have to imagine, I still get daily emails. I was like, And so, sometimes that's why it's like I don't want to take off because I know what I'm coming back to. Sometimes it's just necessary. I want to ask if the SB4 affects those. Okay, I think you're the same person that I just explained on TikTok, and I just explained that. That's all she wrote. I filed for my mom and all documents accepted. Now we have been waiting for interview date. Can I get a visiting visa for her, please? You can't. You're not the one who's going to get a visiting visa for her. She has to apply for herself. But the fact that the interview is still pending does not stop her from applying for a visitor visa, with the understanding, however, that USCIS obviously or the Department of State obviously will see that she's got a pending case before them, and they have the discretion to not grant her that visitor visa because she has already expressed an immigrant intent by what she filed on her behalf and waiting for an interview date. And they know that if she comes here, then she's most likely probably just going to decide she wants to adjust status here. Um, so, but it doesn't stop you from trying, and for her to apply for the visitor visa. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Fanny Shannon. Please don't repeat the questions. That makes it a lot easier to just go through once. How long does it take to be called for biometrics after valid valid application? There's no set time. There's no set time. Hello, Alan Gill. How are you? My EAD application was denied even after I filed 180 days after submitting my asylum application. What do I do? Why was it denied? That's the first question. Why was it denied? We miss the friends, especially our African. What amazes me is how much of the friends, because y'all already know, Caribbeans, Africans, y'all know we don't share. You know, we're raised with traditions where you ain't sharing a whole lot of stuff with family, let alone friends. Cause the man interview Lola Gonsev. What interview she interview no well 34 interview day. You know your interview is the next day. But you're gonna our but she will not know because you ain't sharing anything. I was gonna I was gonna cuss right there. Because you ain't sharing anything with friends. But how come some people have so much information about friends to the point where you know something is due next week and like it's my friend? Okay, I argue it's a friend. I mean, go any friend. I mean, go my friend. I mean, go my friend. But with these friends, they would never share. Well, maybe it's the kind of friends that um because for instance I have a girlfriend and I saw her the day before I traveled last week, and then when I got to my destination I sent her a photo. She was like, okay, you gotta be kidding me, because I'm that is just me. Like I love traveling, I'm a spontaneous traveler, but she was like, no, we just spoke, like we just literally FaceTime yesterday because I ain't gonna tell you nothing. I don't share my moves with nobody. I mean, besides my mama. Sometimes, unless I want to surprise my mama, but because you have to share with people who pray for you. So yeah, but well, well, well. Thank you, Mr. Ben. Our friends. Can you say something about people with asylum in U.S. since 2015? What do you want me to say? It's it's been pending. It's not funny, but that's what we're seeing. It is forever. Um, I don't know. It gets. Hello, Mr. Smith. I have to send you the updates from today. So if you send me an email reminder, I've got yeah. So, but I will get to it. It just maybe tomorrow. Can I request a FOIA online? That's usually the best. Or you didn't do it online? Did you send it in? Oh, if you're the same person who's saying your vowels, your FOIA has been taken, that may be the problem. It's much faster online, a whole lot faster online, and that's what I was saying. And I don't see it, and the reason why it's taking months. And if you're not sure what to do, you may better have an attorney help you out. And so you're asking and getting the exact file that you're requesting to get. Can a class 2 misdemeanor reckless driving affect adjustment of status? Um, I cannot say whether or not it will, because each state has its own different criminal code. And so, depending on what it is classified as in your state, that will determine how immigration will classify it and whether or not it would affect adjustment of status. The fact that a crime is misdemeanor does not mean it would not fall within crime involving moral turpitude. So that's just one thing I always want people to understand. Thank you for understanding. Okay, let's see. Okay. Did you enjoy the sky juice and festivities? I did. Epic movements. The sky juice, because I don't drink alcohol. Truth be told. That's why I'm very, very particular about my drinks around people, because I don't drink alcohol. Imagine if I'm already hyper. Shelly, imagine if a man drink alcohol. Like, I'll just be bouncing off the wall. But the sky juice, because I was told I had to try it. And I was like, okay, but it's got, I think it's got, is it rum or gin that has got? I was like, but the way they made it for me was like in a very, very balanced way. And I had a bottle of water. And I tell you, it was so good. The next day I went back for more. That's for someone who doesn't drink. So it's like, okay. But hey, I did it. Oh, Miss Tammy, if you will forward that email to me, I got over 1,000 emails, and we said no. I'm not even kidding. So please, if I always tell people, give me 72 hours. That's on my email. But if you don't hear from me in 72 hours, please forward that email. Email me again, because then I know it's been more than 3 days. So that's what I need you to do, please. Okay. Oh, okay, Mr. Calvin. Okay. Okay. All right. I figured they own my contact and All right, then. I'll check the email. Okay. All right. My check. I'm getting good at this Yoruba thing. A dark way about me down saying this. What is the message? Excellency for Christ. What is I don't see any question that you've asked. What is your question? That friend on his lawyer. Funny, Shani. You have a friend that needs immigration. But your friend didn't find. So what you find? You send there. Well, listen, I'm not even. I have a vow petition pending. How can I file for my 16-year-old nephew living with me? There's no classification of nephew unless you've already adopted him. That you may want to look into that. Maybe that's what you want to do. My sister has been undocumented for a while. Is there a way out for her? She needs to talk to Laura and see what options she may have, may or may not have. You just never know. Okay. Hello, Mr. Taryn. How are you? I am doing well, Ghanaian wife. Thank you for asking. What is the success rate with T visa? I hardly do it, so I couldn't tell you. Are you putting the removal proceedings if it's denied? However, I'm a DACA recipient. If you're a DACA recipient, you're not going to be placing removal proceedings, because that's the whole point of the DACA, to have deferred action. Okay. What happens to children after one parent who isn't a citizen but a green card holder but married to a citizen? Huh? What happens to children after one parent who isn't a citizen but a green card holder but married to a citizen? What are you asking? What do you mean what happens to children? Are you asking if they automatically become a citizen, or I mean, there's a whole lot that goes into that, or Um, are both parents the biological the parents of the children? When did they get? How old were the children when you got married, or were you already married? I mean, there's a whole lot that goes into that line. So if you're asking what happens to the descendants, what is going to be their status? Um, then I'm assuming that they weren't born here. There's a whole lot there are a lot of moving parts in that one question or scenario painting. What part of what part are you from in Ijebu? I'm not. My mom is the one that is from Ijebu. She's from Ijebu-Tele, I think. If I think I'm right, Ijebu-Tele is where my mom is from. So, do they automatically become a citizen? There's the calculation that needs to be done. Are the children green card holders now? All the children green card holders. Hello, Ms. Adequeju. How are you? All the children green card holders. They're not green card holders. Then they don't automatically become a citizen just like that. They have to. You need to sit down with a lawyer. That's what you need to do. Hello, Tyre _3 blessed. Okay. Let's see. I think I was able to answer most questions in what is the success rate of I don't answer. I'll tell you one of the questions. That's one of the questions I don't care to answer. Success rate of anything. Everyone's case is different. Everybody's case is. You can't just say blanket success rate for something when in a case like that is very, very case specific. What is your? These are the requirements, but what evidence do you have? You know. Hello, Miss 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Shalafia ekale. Yes, at excellency Christ, I'm not. I don't see what it is that you're asking me. I need to make another trip out of the country. Okay, where are you going now? Where do you go this time around? Can people with TPS go to home country to visit? Would that be risky? Of course, it's going to be. That's a whole point. You're giving temporary protected status because there's chaos or whatever going back in your home country. So why would you not think it's risky going back there unless it's an emergency? It's an emergent urgent trip that you have to make. What happens when one petitions for her father and he gets a 10-year green card? After 3 years, the said case is denied because you missed the interview and stating that you petitioned for him as a spouse. Huh? What happens when one petitions for a father and he got a 10-year green card? After 3 years, they said the case is denied because you missed the interview and stating that you petitioned for him as a spouse. That is, you need to sit down with a lawyer and present your notices to a lawyer. You have to understand there's a way you can present, you can ask your question that I know you're not asking the right question, because I know USCIS will not just come and deny a green card when they give you a green card and say no. There's a whole lot going on that you need to present and give notices, whatever denial notices you have. Present it to a lawyer, let them review, and they'll be able to tell you exactly what went wrong in your case. Appreciate your contribution towards Nigerian American and taking your time to do this twice a week. Thank you. Thank you very much. That means a lot. Hello, Mr. Yusomi. How are you? He said he has a pending asylum case for 12 years now. What can he do to schedule an interview? If he's got grounds to request that they expedite scheduling his interview, then he can try that. It's usually 50-50 chance, really. It just depends on, because you have to have specific reasons for that. Okay. Let's see. Thank you. Oh, baby blings. Okay. I'm still waiting, Excellency for Christ. I still don't see your question here. If you didn't put your question in the comment section, then it's not going to get answered. Okay. I think I got through all of this. Good to know. Okay, people. I think we have, yeah, I think I already answered that. So I need to reply. Can someone get travel documents for asylum? Yes, but you have to be very specific as to what the basis of your travel is going to be. The same thing, just like DACA, you've got to be very specific. The only time you don't have to be very specific, well, they ask you, but the way they don't make a fuss about it is where when you are applying for advanced parole based on marriage or employment routes or 485, based on the 485. They don't make a fuss about that one. Okay. All right, people. I think we got everything. I'm still trying to wait for excellency for Christ, but I don't think that the question is forthcoming. Thank you, Miss Mackie. Give me a hint or send me an email. I guess I would know if you send me an email. Okay, finally. But I already answered your question. I already answered your question. Answer your question. Your question was about okay, how can someone get an interview in time since 2015? By asking them to expedite. That's I already answered that question like 200 years ago. Asking them to expedite. A lot of people waiting on their asylum interviews. That's just the reality of what we're seeing. It's taking forever, and that's why a lot of people are looking for the alternatives to what. And people do actually get married, and like and I always tell people, if you get married, do not pull your asylum case. Just hold on and be done with that. Marriage, get your green card, then notify them that you have your green card, and then you rejoin your petition at that point. But don't do anything before then. But anyway, all right, folks. So thank you as always for always joining. I do appreciate that. And I cannot stress this enough. As much as where this state, Tennessee is in most recent states join on the bandwagon. Georgia, it's becoming something crazy, especially with the current administration. So imagine if a Republican comes in November or towards next year. Can y'all imagine what it's going to be like? You have to understand we already have on the Supreme Court, and I think that's what happened this time around. We've got majority Republicans on the bench at the Supreme Court, and so most of the decisions most likely will be along those conservative lines. But you can make a difference if you decide to vote when November comes around, because at the end of the day, this country will not be what it is without immigrants. Nobody can lay claim to the United States if you're not American Indian, which a lot of people are, and that's why they had their agreement with them. And then we've got reservations and all that, and they have their own government. But everyone has a root somewhere. And so for people to decide they want to take over and determine who gets to stay, why not allow from somewhere? But the truth of the matter is, there's the way we can support one another is there's a whole lot of negativity already in the immigrant community. We should come together as one. And for those of us who don't have to deal with paperwork and all that anymore, put those who are still going through the process in prayer. Put them, stand in the gap for them and petition before God, trusting and believing that their story is also would end in praise, just like those of us that have gone before them. But most importantly, support one another in any way we can, and just believing that all these laws that men are making, they don't get to have the final say. God, at the end of the day, gets to have the final say. Always a pleasure joining you guys every Tuesday, Thursdays, and I'll see you guys